Hola a todos, ¿cómo están? Soy Erika y bienvenidos a mi canal. Hi everyone, my name is Erika and welcome to my channel. In today's video, we'll be talking about estructura de oraciones. So today we are going to review Spanish sentence structure. This video is intended for beginners as I'm going to be going over a lot of different things that make up sentence structure, just to give you like the big picture and some pointers to hopefully help you improve. If you have more experience with the language, this video can serve as a great reminder, as even though I've been speaking Spanish for around 10 years, I still make mistakes sometimes. So it's always good to have a quick refresher. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Also, I have a lot of video lessons on my channel, so if you like this one, you should definitely go ahead and check out the rest of my Spanish lessons. Pero bueno, vamos a empezar. So, why is it important to know Spanish sentence structure? The first reason is that it influences clarity. So, right now, I'm also teaching English, and when my students have poor grammar and bad sentence structure, it makes it really hard for me to understand what they're saying. So, you can imagine that if you're doing, or if you have poor sentence structure in Spanish, even someone who speaks the language fluently, has spoken it their whole life, they might have a hard time understanding what you're trying to say. Okay, so it's really important to have good sentence structure. Another thing is that poor sentence structure, or if you don't know how you're using the language, it can affect your meaning. We have this example in English. So let's eat grandma and let's eat grandma. You can see that they have the same words, but because of like the structure of the sentence and the comma, the meaning changes. Okay, so that same thing can happen in Spanish. And the last reason is obviously effective communication. If you are clear and you say exactly what you mean, you'll have effective communication. Okay, all right. So let's go right now into the order of words in Spanish. So it's SVO. So in Spanish, when we have a sentence structure, we first start with the subject, then the verb, then the object. So the subject is el que hace la acción, so that who is performing the action. El verbo, acción. Oops, you can see I forgot my little accent there. And then you have the object, lo que recibe la acción. So the object is like what's receiving the action. So here we have some sentences. Yo como una manzana. So yo, I'm the subject, I'm doing the action. Como means to eat, so that's comer, the verb. Una manzana, that's my object because it is being eaten by me, okay? It's being affected, or it's like receiving the action of being eaten, okay? So subject, verb, object, okay? SVO. We also have el perro duerme, so we have the dog sleeps. In this one, there's not really an object, but it still follows the pattern of subject and then verb, okay? El perro duerme. We also have negative sentences. So with negation, that goes after the subject and always before the verb, okay? So yo no como una manzana, all right? So you can see it's going right before that verb. El perro no duerme. Okay, el perro no duerme. All right? Okay, so this is our basics of Spanish, but we also have something there is to consider. So if you ever watch or you're listening to native Spanish speakers speak, sometimes they don't follow this SVO sentence structure, and so I'm just going to tell you why. So in Spanish, we can switch the order of words to add emphasis. For example, if you say duerme el perro, you're really putting emphasis on the fact that the dog is sleeping. Rather than if I say el perro duerme, the dog is sleeping, but if I say duerme el perro, it puts a lot more emphasis on that duerme part. Okay, so we also have una manzana como. So if I'm saying like una manzana como, there's a lot of emphasis on like the fact that I'm eating an apple. So that can be it, okay? I don't necessarily recommend starting with this sentence structure because it affects meaning. You might emphasize something you're not meaning to emphasize. So I would stick to the SVO one just for now, but I just wanted to let you know about this so that if you ever hear it, you're not confused. Okay, bueno. And let's go to modifiers and descriptors. So modifiers and descriptors, so like adjectives or adverbs. adjectives and adverbs usually go after the noun and verb respectively, okay? So you have the noun, and then you're going to have your adjective, you'll have your verb, and then your adverb. Okay, so por ejemplo, el perro, that's my noun, marrón, so the brown dog, duerme tranquilamente. So it sleeps peacefully. Okay, so as you can see, it's always behind. We have the adjective behind the noun and the adverb behind the verb. Okay, another example, yo como rápidamente la manzana roja. So I quickly eat the red apple. Okay, so in English, it goes before because I said I quickly eat. You see, everything always goes before. But in Spanish, it's switched. It's opposite. Okay, so it always goes behind. Okay, however, again, this is like however, and this is what you might hear a lot of native speakers say. Tranquilamente duerme el perro marrón. So you see how I put the verb? We have our sentence structure mixed up here as well. It's putting emphasis now that peacefully it sleeps, the brown dog. Okay? So again, if you ever see a mix up in sentence structure, you need to pay attention to the modifier or the action that they're doing, because that's the purpose is to create a sense of emphasis on that certain part. So rápidamente como la manzana roja. Like quickly, I eat the red apple. And it's putting emphasis instead of the fact that I quickly ate an apple, is putting the emphasis on quickly. Okay, so like peacefully and quickly. If it ever comes first, that's where the emphasis is. Okay, all right. The next thing we need to know about Spanish sentence structure is conjunciones or conjunctions. So these are connector words that we have in parts of a phrase. We can put them together to create a complete sentence. So I just have some here that if you don't know, these are super useful to know. So y is and in Spanish, el perro y el gato. Okay, y is and, pero with one R. If it's two R's, it means dog. Okay, so perro is but, es caro pero bueno, is expensive but good. O is or, so el perro o el gato, que, that means that, so el perro que duerme, the dog that sleeps. Okay. ¿Por qué? Is because, duerme porque es cansado. It sleeps because it is tired. Si is if. If you see the si with an accent on the I, that means yes, but with just a normal I, it's if. Si vamos a España, podemos comer tortilla. If we go to Spain, we can eat tortilla. Mientras, el perro duerme mientras el gato juegue. The dog sleeps while the cat plays. Okay, so these are just some conjunctions. If you want a full video on these and you want me to explain, sometimes these can be modified, let me know and I can definitely make that for you. Okay, the last thing we need to talk about is género y cantidad. So this is gender and number agreement in Spanish. So this is a very common mistake that a lot of people make, and it's super important that you catch it just because it's proper grammar. Okay, if you mess this up, I'm sure people will understand what you're trying to say, but it's just incorrect grammar. So basically in Spanish, your articles, nouns, and adjectives need to be modified so that they all match. So remember in Spanish, we have two genders. We have masculine and feminine. So if it's masculine, you need to make sure that the article, the noun, and the adjective all have that O at the end. Okay, they all need to match. So the article for male is el, so el perro negro. So it's O, O, and then that's the masculine, right? If it's plural, everything else needs to match as well. Los perros negros. Os, os, os. Okay? For feminine, as another example, it always needs to end with an A. So for singular, la mariposa rosa. A. If it's plural, las mariposas rosas. So you see we modified the article, the noun, and the adjective to all be in agreement. They all have the same ending, right? Because they all need to match. So a mistake with this could be if you say el mariposa roso. Okay, mariposa is feminine, so everything is feminine and singular, so the article and the adjective always needs to match. Okay, so that's just something that if you're writing, you have to double check that that is always you have gender and number agreement, okay? Y bueno, este fue el video. This was the video. If you liked it, please let me know. Also, let me know what videos you want to see in the future, and I'll see you soon. Adios todos!